Hi. In today's conversation, I'd like to talk about the value of attending conferences and social gatherings and networking events during my medical writer job search. I'd like to specifically share three things which have contributed to a very large extent in helping me transition into a full time medical writer position. I used to be in a technical role, and following which I transitioned to a medical writer role. And all these three factors have helped in that very unlikely transition because I was trying to enter the field of medical writing with little medical writing experience. I had not had the job title of a medical writer before, and so it was fairly challenging to enter the field. And conferences have played a major role. The first thing that conferences gave me was that whenever I attended a conference or a networking event, I found that I was infused with a sense of energy, to meet with other medical writers, to speak with them, find out about their stories. It gave me a sense of excitement, a sense of purpose. And I knew that the energy that I felt would be extremely important in helping me counter the effects of rejection, because rejection is something that we all face. So having that sense of purpose and energy was extremely helpful in overcoming that sense of rejection. The second place where conferences really help is something called familiarity bias, which is when we meet someone face to face, we tend to associate them with a greater sense of familiarity, a greater sense of knowingness, a greater sense of um, joy and happiness when we see that person's email or hear that person on the phone for the second time after we've met them for the first time. As an example, let's say you've been exchanging emails with person X, 50 email exchanges, and you meet person Y for the first time. You have a brief conversation, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. You walk away from that interaction with a positive mindset. 2 days later, you hear back from person Y via the phone or the email. You are um, more likely to feel a greater sense of excitement and joy when you hear back from person Y, whom you have met before, compared to person X, whom you have exchanged many, many more emails with before. And this kind of familiarity bias has greatly worked to my advantage in connecting with people, building long term professional relationships, and having conversations which have led to further, more extended conversations in talking about some of the more practical things like referrals and interviews and so on. The third area where attending the conference has helped is the way I felt when I was in a technical position versus when I was in a room filled with science communicators. As a technician, I always felt like an outcast because I was trying to find ways to bridge the gap between the scientific bubble and the general public. And the people whom I spoke with never really got the point. I would constantly emphasize the importance of being a scientific translator and translating the language of science to something that everyone else could understand, but people never really got the point. However, when I went to a conference and was surrounded by science communicators, it honestly felt like coming home and meeting members of my own tribe. So there you have it. It infused me with energy. It helped me take advantage of familiarity bias and build long term professional relationships with people who have helped me immensely in my career. And it also gave me a sense of community, a sense of coming home, to be in an atmosphere filled with medical writers working in all different genres of medical writing. So there you go. Attend a conference and see for yourself. It doesn't have to be a big conference, it can be a small gathering, it can be a social gathering, but look for opportunities. Get yourself out there, become a familiar face, shake some hands, smile, and see how it goes.